Lord has made a covenant with Abram. He has told Abram that he will be the father of many nations. Will Abram trust in God, or will he do what he thinks is right in his own eyes? Let's find out. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Tally Talks Bible. I'm going to be continuing on with Genesis. We're going to be picking back up in Genesis 16. Now, before I begin, I do want to say a disclosure that there might be some wording in this video that might not be appropriate for some younger ears if they are unfamiliar with where babies come from. And if you feel like they're not ready for that, they may not need to watch this video. I just wanted to go ahead and get that out there, that there might be some wording and word usage that might not be appropriate for someone who has not heard that yet or had that talk. So, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get started, pick back up where we left off. Where we left off in the last video, the Lord was basically telling Abram that all this land I'm giving to you, it will be your land. It'll be your descendants' land. You'll be dead and gone, but he's promised Abram that he will be the father of many nations, and that through those many nations, all the land will be promised to them through the covenant between Abram and the Lord. But things are about to get a little interesting. So I'm going to start right back up. Genesis 16. Hagar and Ishmael. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no children, but she had an Egyptian slave named Hagar. So she said to Abram, "The Lord has kept me from having children. Go sleep with my slave. Perhaps I can build a family through her." Abram agreed to what Sarai said. So after Abram had been living in Canaan 10 years, Sarai, his wife, took her Egyptian slave Hagar and gave her to her husband to be his wife. He slept with Hagar, and she conceived. When she knew she was pregnant, she began to despise her mistress. There's a fly buzzing around here. Then Sarai said to Abram, "You are responsible for the wrong I am suffering. I put my slave in your arms, and now that she knows she is pregnant, she despises me. May the Lord judge between you and me." So, this is actually a callback to Genesis 2. What happened when Adam took the fruit from Eve? He listened to his wife. So this is actually another instance of this. Abram listened to his wife, Sarai, and took it upon himself to take this Egyptian slave, now it's a slave, and basically go and impregnate her so he could have a child. Even though the Lord has told him, "I will give you a child. You will be the father of many nations." He has done what is right in his eyes. Both he and Sarah both have done what they thought is right in their eyes and did not trust in the Lord and took advantage of this woman, Hagar, and now is pregnant with Abram's child. So let's continue on and see what's going to happen. "Your slave is in your hands," Abram said. Do with her whatever you think is best." Here we go. Think is best. Then Sarai mistreated Hagar, so she fled from her. The angel of the Lord found Hagar near a spring in the desert. It was a spring that is beside the road of Shur. And he said, "Hagar, slave of Sarai, where have you come from, and where are you going?" "I am running from my mistress Sarai," she answered. Then the angel of the Lord told her, "Go back to your mistress and submit to her." The angel added, "I will increase your descendants so much that they will be too numerous to count." The angel of the Lord also said to her, "You are now pregnant, and you will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard your misery. He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and he will live in hostility towards all his brothers. So, even though Abram and Sarai have taken things into their own hands, the Lord is still extending the blessing to Abram's bloodline. He just told Hagar that through your son, his descendants will be numerous, just like he said to Abram. So this is what the Lord does. He can take something that's a bad situation, something that was meant for evil, or something that's just not flat out right, and he can take it and flip it and make it good. That's the power of our Lord. So I'm going to pick back up on verse 13. Excuse me. Oop, I probably just smacked the mic. She gave this name to the Lord who spoke to her. You are the God who sees me. For she said, I have now seen the one who sees me. That is why the well was called Bir Lahai Roi. It is still there between Kadesh and Bered. So Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram gave the name Ishmael to the son she had born. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore him Ishmael. 86. Now it's on up there in the years. But again, that's what the Lord can do. That is the power of the Lord. He can just take anything. If he says he's going to do something, you trust in the Lord and just you follow through with what he's saying. The Lord will speak to you. The Lord has spoken to me. That's why I'm doing these videos. He spoke to me and I listened. Even though a lot of people that know me in my personal life, I'm not really a people person. Continuing on. Now, this is some of that talk in the last chapter was kind of PG-13, if you will. Now it's going to get into a little bit more. I'm trying to think of the words here. There's a reasoning, and I didn't realize the reasoning behind this for a long time. But this is going to be talking about circumcision and where it came from. This is part of the covenant with Abram. So, starting off chapter 17. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, I am God Almighty. Walk before me faithfully and be blameless. Then I will make my covenant between me and you and will greatly increase your numbers. Abram fell face down, and God said to him, As for me, this is my covenant with you. You will be the father of many nations. No longer will you be called Abram. Your name will be Abraham. For I have made you the father of many nations. I will make you very fruitful. I will make nations of you, and kings will come from you. I will establish my covenant as an everlasting covenant between me and you and your descendants after you for the generations to come, to be your God and the God of your descendants after you. The whole land of Canaan, where you now reside as a foreigner, I will give as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you, and I will be their God. Then God said to Abraham, As for you, you must keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you for the generations to come. This is my covenant with you and your descendants after you, the covenant you are to keep. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You are to undergo circumcision, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and you. For generations to come, every male among you who is 8 days old must be circumcised, including those born in your household or bought with money from a foreigner. Those who are not your offspring, whether born in your household or bought with your money, they must be circumcised. My covenant in your flesh is to be everlasting covenant. Any uncircumcised male who has not been circumcised in the flesh will be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. God also said to Abraham, As for Sarai, your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai. Her name will be Sarah. I will bless her and will surely give you a son by her. I will bless her so that she will be the mother of nations. Kings of people will come from her. All right, that's a mouthful, but I wanted to go ahead and just get that all out. So what's going on here is the circumcision which we all know it's the removing of the flesh around the, top of the penis. This is actually a mark because of the sin that Abraham has committed against God. This is like a sign to show him that this is the mark of my covenant with you, that I'm showing you, that I'm promising you, this is how things will be. But he took it into his own hands and slept. Thank fly. And slept with Hagar and had a child through Hagar instead of waiting and trusting in the Lord. So now this circumcision is a mark to show that the sin that you committed, this is how it will be a sign. And now we're going to continue. Verse 17. Abraham fell face down. He laughed and said to himself, will a son be born to me, a man 100 years old? Even still, even after everything the Lord has done and provided for him, he still can't put his trust in the Lord. Will Sarah bear a child at the age of 99? And Abraham said to God, if only Ishmael might live under your blessing. Then God said, yes, but your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. I will surely bless him. I will make him fruitful and will greatly increase his numbers. He will be the father of 12 rulers, and I will make him into a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you by this time next year. When he had finished speaking with Abraham, God went up from him. On that very day, Abraham took his son Ishmael, and all those born in his household were bought with his money, every male in his household, and circumcised them as God told him. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised, and his son Ishmael was 13. Abraham and his son Ishmael were both circumcised on that very day, and every male in Abraham's household, including those born in his household or bought from a foreigner, was circumcised with him. So again, that's the sign, that's a mark of the covenant between God and Abraham. And it's still a thing today. There's still circumcisions going on today. And that's all I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read chapter 18, and then I will close this out, and there will be a part 3. Now, there were 3 visitors that came to Abraham. And it says, the Lord appeared to Abraham near the great tree of Mamre. While he was sitting at the entrance to his tent in the heat of the day. See, now there's the wind of the day was mentioned in Eden. And it's believed that the wind of the day was probably more like closer to evening, like maybe the sun starting to set. So the heat of the day, I believe, I have to double check, but I'm going to say that it's probably more like, the hottest part of our day is around noon. It's like 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm going to assume it's probably like midday. Abraham looked up and saw 3 men standing nearby. When he saw them, he hurried from the entrance of his tent to meet them and bowed low to the ground. He said, if I have found favor in your eyes, my lord, do not pass your servant by. Let a little water be brought, and then you may all wash your feet and rest under this tree. Let me get you something to eat so you can be refreshed, and then go on your way. Now that you have come to your servant, very well, they answered. Do as you say. So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah. Quick, he said, get 3 says, it's a word, says of the finest flour knead it and bake some bread. So she's making bread. Then he ran to the herd and selected a choice tender calf and gave it to a servant, who hurried to prepare it. He then brought some curds and milk and the calf that had been prepared and set these before them. While they ate, he stood near them under a tree. Where is your wife Sarah? They asked him. There in the tent, he said. Then one of them said, I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son." Now Sarah was listening at the entrance to the tent, which was behind him. Abraham and Sarah were already very old, and Sarah was past the age of childbearing. So Sarah laughed to herself as she thought, "After I am worn out and my Lord is old, will I now have this pleasure?" Then the Lord said to Abraham, "Why does Sarah laugh and say, 'Will I have a child now that I am old?' Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son." Sarah was afraid, so she lied and said, "I did not laugh." But he said, "Yes, you did laugh." So here we go again. Not trusting in what the Lord is saying. This thing, it repeats. It keeps going. It keeps repeating over and over. You get to a point like, oh, here we go. Yes, yes, they're going to do right. They're going to listen, and this is going to be the right path for them. And then they screw it up. Don't listen. Take things into their own hands, and things get turned upside down. But also, if you think back, after Adam and Eve had taken the fruit, what did they do? They hid from the Lord. But why did they hide from the Lord? Because they were afraid of him. So this is actually another callback to Genesis 2 after they have taken the fruit and eaten it. There's a lot of callbacks, a lot of things. The Bible was meant to, you can go and read this, and then it's going to take you back. Just, that's what it does. It's meant to be read multiple times. You're not just supposed to read it from front to back and be done with it. I'm learning stuff new every day. The more I look and more I study, I listen to podcasts, do research, look up articles. I learn new things every day. This next section is going to be about Sodom. Now, do we remember somebody that may be near Sodom? Somebody related to Abraham? Maybe his nephew that was supposed to stay back home and not come with him to begin with? Causing more trouble, it seems. So Abraham pleads for Sodom. When the men got up to leave, they looked down toward Sodom, and Abraham walked along with them to see them on their way. Then the Lord said, "Shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do? Abraham will surely become a great and powerful nation, and all nations on earth will be blessed through him. For I have chosen him so that he will direct his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just, so that the Lord will bring about for Abraham what he has promised him." See, now here the Lord's debating, should I even tell Abraham what I'm about to do? Maybe he knows how Abraham would react. I'm not real sure exactly why he would say this. I don't know, maybe because he knew that there was someone that Abraham knew that was near there and would try to stop him. But Sodom had become like the time before the flood. There was just people raping, killing, just robbing, stealing. It was a terrible, terrible place. But here we're going to have an interaction between God and Abraham. So let's see how things are going to go. Then the Lord said, "The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great, that their sin so grievous, that I will go down and see if what they have done is as bad as the outcry that has reached me. If not, I will know." Okay, the outcry. That's another reference. What would cause the land to outcry to the Lord? Cain and Abel. Once the blood spilled on the earth cried out to the Lord. So, like I was saying, there's killing and murder and everything else going on. So all that bloodshed is calling back to the Lord, and he knows what's going on. The men turned away and went toward Sodom, but Abraham remained standing there before the Lord. Then Abraham approached him and said, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked?" What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not spare the place for the sake of 50 righteous people in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and the wicked alike. Far be it from you. Will not the judge of all the earth do right? So now Abraham's calling out the Lord. He's trying to call out the Lord's character here. And I believe that the Lord already had in his mind what he was going to do with Sodom and Gomorrah. It's not like Abraham is convincing him. I think this was actually more of a test for Abraham to see what kind of character Abraham thought the Lord had. And this is going to come up, Abraham trying to figure out the character of the Lord later on. Verse 26, the Lord said, if I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake. Then Abram spoke up again. Now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, though I am nothing but dust and ash, what if the number of righteous is 5 less than 50? Would you destroy the whole city for lack of 5 people? If I find 45 there, he said, I will not destroy it. Once again he spoke to him. What if only 40 are found there? He said, for the sake of 40, I will not do it. Then he said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me speak. What if only 30 can be found there? He answered, I will not do it if I find 30 there. Abraham said, now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, what if only 20 can be found there? He said, for the sake of 20, I will not destroy it. Then he said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me speak just once more. What if only 10 can be found there? He answered, for the sake of 10, I will not destroy it. When the Lord had finished speaking with Abram, he left, and Abraham returned home. Okay, so that's it for today. I will be making a part 3 later on, and that will be covering what's going to happen to Sodom and also Gomorrah. And some other interesting things. Will the Lord make right on this promise? Abraham? Will Sarah have the child? We'll find out in part 3. As always, thank everybody for your time. I appreciate all the support. And as always, God bless.